So, I've been just looking at your channel, and I noticed that in 2021, it's been year for you that your freedom of speech is being banned by YouTube quite a lot.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got banned a ton. And the thing was, it was I would I would almost always win the appeal. Like I but it was like every week I was getting banned for something, and then I would appeal and I would win it. But sometimes they take a week to get back to you on the appeal. Sometimes they get back to you like an hour later or something like that. And so, but yeah, it was just I was already in a situation where like I was staying up all night and sleeping during the day. And so as far as recording, because I'm at the end of my bedroom right now. The bedroom's that way. My bed's right in on the other side of this computer. So for my wife to be sleeping and so on, for my wife to be sleeping, I can't be in here and recording. So I had like a small window of space to actually record and so on. And just with the constant bans, I'd be like, I guess I'll record tomorrow. I guess I'll do something tomorrow. And so for a long time, I was just like, let them sort out this banning situation, because what they did because of COVID, they didn't have people working in the office as much. They programmed bots to go and take people's stuff down, looking just for keywords, and they just ban all kinds of people's stuff if it sounded like it was, Islamophobic or something like that. And then they leave it to you to kind of defend your stuff and say, actually, it's not hate speech. It's not that. So a lot of it, I think, was bots. But I've always had a ton of people filing false complaints about my videos. But there was a greater emphasis this year on filing false complaints because the Dawa community is getting a little more desperate because of the avalanche of apostasy and so on. So they're trying more and more to control people's speech. Anyway, I was just in a situation where I was getting lots of false strikes, was taking a while, and I was just saying, I don't care. I'm just not going to mess with this for a while. But no, I'm back now. I'm back now posting, and so even with the false strikes, I'll win them. The plus side is I've won every one this year, and it's been a lot of them. It seemed like I was getting one or two per week for a while. That's died down, so it's gotten better. But I've eventually won all of them. Most of them I won on appeal, and then the ones I lost actually won once people complained on Twitter, and then they took another look at it and fixed it. So I think I've won all of them this year eventually. But yeah.
I do follow not all of, but most of your work, and all I am observing is all you are doing is mainly giving quotation from Islamic sources. Why do you think giving quotation from Islamic sources is hate speech now?
Yeah, well, it's not. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit YouTube's definition of what hate speech is. But many in the Zakir Naik and Dawa community and so on regard it as hate speech because we're using it to criticize Islam. But they can't just say, hey, this is, offensive stuff. So what they'll do is they'll complain, oh, this is making us feel threatened because when he criticizes Muhammad, that's like violence, which if you think about it, that's the way it is in Islam, right? If you say someone else has a false religion, that's a call for violence against them because Islam calls for violence against people of other religions. And so it just seems to be built into their mindset that when you're criticizing their religion, you're calling for violence against their community because that's the way Islam is. Guys, get it through your heads. We can criticize your religion all day long. It's got zero to do with any sort of call for violence. I mean, if you take a philosophy class, especially if you get to graduate level in philosophy, all you do is attack everyone else's positions. Everyone all day long attacks each other's position. No one is calling for violence. So yeah, it's just a problem that you've got this hypersensitive religion that's encourages people to get super hurt feelings. And yet at the same time, that super hurt feelings religion also has the most ridiculous profit in history. Like if you made a list of every stupid, ridiculous characteristic a false prophet could have that would prove conclusively that he's a false prophet, if you made a list like that, Muhammad had all of them. Muhammad had every possible feature. I mean, you're talking about a guy who, he's the one who said he was demon possessed. If you right now say, I think Muhammad was demon possessed, they'd say, oh, that's racist and bigoted and Islamophobic. Wait, Muhammad is the first one who said he thought he was demon possessed. Well, not the first one, because his foster parents, when he was a little kid, thought he was demon possessed. That's why they sent him back to his mom. So multiple people long before us thought this guy had some problems with demons. Tries repeatedly to kill himself. I mean, your pattern of conduct is someone who, whenever something didn't go right, would run and say, I'm going to hurl myself off a cliff. I mean, that sounds like borderline personality disorder, right? It's characterized by these ongoing suicide attempts whenever something doesn't go your way. I mean, he claimed to be a victim of black magic that was giving him delusional thoughts and false beliefs, walking around babbling all this weird stuff. Eventually says, oh, it's because that Jewish magician cast a spell on me. Now just think, I mean, my goodness, Hatun, how many times has a spell taken you out, right? I'm sure if there were a spell that could take you out, people would be using that magic on us to take us out. I did have a high priest of Wicca once used a spell to try and take us out, not kill us, but to try to keep us from confronting him. That dude cast a spell on me and a couple other Christians. He died. I'm not saying it's the Almighty who killed him. I don't know, but I know his spell didn't work. But you're telling me you've got Allah's last and greatest messenger, and you could get a hair from his hairbrush, cast a spell, and boom, this guy's all disoriented and weird for a period of between 6 months and 2 years that he's acting like a nutcase. I mean, even more so than normal when he would act like a nutcase. But you got that. You got the satanic verses where he walks out and tells his followers it's okay to pray to these 3 pagan goddesses because they'll just carry your prayers up to Allah. So it's okay to have them as mediators. Then he comes back later and says, oops, the devil made me do it. And then you've got, all this stuff about getting revelations telling him to have sex with a prepubescent little girl, getting revelations telling him to take the wife of his own adopted son, getting caught having sex with his slave girl, making an oath to his wives that he would never do it again, and then getting a revelation telling him, break your oath, go start having sex with your slave girl again. You just look at this, and then with the killing of dogs, with everything this guy did, it's so weird. Your average Muslim doesn't know about any of it. I mean, if they've heard anything now, they've heard Aisha. But if you go back 10 years, they hadn't even heard about Aisha because their leaders, their entire lives, keep them insulated from hearing all of this information. And they have to do that in order to try to keep them in Islam, because they know once Muslims find out all this stuff about Muhammad, you can't turn around and say, oh, by the way, he's the great pattern of conduct for all mankind. As the Quran says in Surah 33, verse 21, Muhammad is a beautiful pattern of conduct. So, yeah, that's the situation. So all they can try to do now is keep people from talking about this stuff. And they do that just with manipulation, saying, oh, this is hate speech when someone points out these facts from our sources. And it's just to try to make the rest of the world do what they do. Muslim leaders keep this information hidden. They keep it concealed. All of a sudden, we non-Muslims get a hold of their sources. We start telling the Muslim community what's in their sources, and then they start leaving Islam in droves. Muslim leaders want to stop that, and so now they're programming people to complain that everything is hate speech and get people shut down, because it's very clear. I mean, it's still a tiny fraction of people in the world who know this information, and Islam is already facing an avalanche of apostasy. Imagine what would happen if this just became common knowledge. Imagine if every person you ran into on the street, they all knew that Muhammad said you could beat your wives into submission, and that you have to kill apostates, and that it was okay to hire prostitutes. Imagine if this was, and that you breastfeed adults. Women can breastfeed adult men with beards, so that there's no sexual attraction between them. It's just insane. And Muslims don't know it's there. We do. We know it's there. We want to tell people there. And there, and the Muslim leaders are doing everything they can to stop us from making this stuff known.